In this video, we're doing the ADVENT Blacksite mission, because we've run out of time on the Avatar project. But before we get to that, we're going to buy the Predator armor upgrade, which will give our units more health and a second inventory slot.
The aptly named Predator armor should give our soldiers increased longevity in the field.
We are guaranteed to get the Chosen on this mission, both because it's been about 3 missions since the last time we saw him, but also because you're always guaranteed to get Chosen on story missions. Which works out really well, because it means we don't get an early Chosen spawn from being off-step. For our squad, we're bringing along a fairly standard group, including the same soldiers as the previous mission. We have our Reaper, a Ranger, 2 Grenadiers, our Spark, and a Sharpshooter. In terms of equipment, we now have a lot more inventory slots because of our Predator armor. So even though we have mind shields on our frontline units for the Chosen, our Grenadiers can still bring a full load of grenades, which have also now been upgraded to plasma grenades. Otherwise, our Ranger has Talon rounds and our Sharpshooter has blue screen rounds as usual, but we've also given her a superior perception PCS, so she should have some pretty good hit chances.
Confirm the Blacksite is in your immediate vicinity. Infiltrate and investigate the area. Expect heavy resistance. Neutralize all hostile contacts.
We're out of sight.
The goal of the ADVENT Blacksite mission is to reach and collect the main objective in the facility and then make it to the extraction point. The main thing to keep in mind with this mission is that it's not timed, so you can take as long as you want. There's no reason to rush or take any unnecessary risks. We'll start by moving our scout out as usual and finding our first pod.
As you order, Commander. I am on the move.
Double time. I'm all over it.
Affirmative.
Getting it done.
We'll start swinging our Reaper over this way, because there could be a pod on the other side of this transport ship.
Moving out.
We could see them for a brief moment. Let's go around and try to spot them.
The aliens may have cleaned up the design, but these monsters are no better than the ones my father dealt with.
Our first pod has an Archon and a Stun Lancer. Archons are interesting in that they're very all-or-nothing units. The way Archons work is if you don't attack them, they use Blazing Pinions as their first action, which is a delayed attack that you can easily avoid. So you can kind of safely leave them alone for a turn as long as you don't damage them. When you do damage them, they gain an extra action point and they switch over into a more melee-focused mode. So they're more likely to reach you and they're more likely to damage you. We'll move our units up and get ready to fight this pod. Ideally, we have our Sharpshooter and Spark in high ground positions.
Will do. Good to go.
Our Ranger can't get close without breaking concealment, so she'll just have to sit back here.
Will do.
patrol.
There's the next pod, an officer, a stun lancer and a purifier. The Archon pod has unfortunately chosen to sit too close to this forklift, so we'll just use remote start as usual. We haven't actually broken concealment yet, which is why he hasn't scattered.
That's affirmative.
I'm not expecting to hit this shot, I just want to apply hollow targeting.
They've spotted us!
That's battle frenzy kicking in, but we can just finish it off with our sharpshooter.
Nailed him!
Then we'll just set up with the rest of our units in case that other pod patrols towards us.
Moving.
Okay, I'll go.
I'm going!
Got it covered.
Overwatch mode.
Scanning.
Active.
Here comes the Chosen, as expected.
Heretics, come forth.
He hasn't learned anything new yet. He hasn't done any more training since the last time we saw him.
See the face of your ruin.
Commander, one of the Chosen is here. We'll have to deal with it before it throws off the rest of our operation.
This pod is also close to a forklift, but remote start is on cooldown. We'll just move off to one side for now.
I will reposition.
We've also got a turret up here.
Differently than the others we've seen. They probably upgraded its sensors. I'd keep a low profile. It may come after multiple targets now if the system is responsive enough.
Apparently they're very close to us. Between the block and the forklift, we can probably get close enough to catch them when they patrol again next turn.
On the move.
Our sharpshooter probably won't be able to see anything from her current position, so we'll take her up onto the roof.
Okay.
That way if we still haven't activated them next turn, we can try with long watch.
Let's get the show on the road.
What's over there?
Seems doable.
I'm on it.
Scanning.
I see everything.
I'm on it. Affirmative. Covering now.
Sensors at maximum range.
The advanced units also start getting a chance to get grazed hits.
It's still moving.
Watch the sides! Yeah, I didn't get it.
Shot Need wide. To find some new cover!
I'm very bad at keeping track of when more spectral zombies are coming in. Now remote start has come off of cooldown, we can use it to delete this stun lancer. First I'm just going to double check the blast radius.
Volk says I am to obey.
So easily set to flame.
Then we have to move out of the way of this spectral zombie. We'll want to make sure our spark can see all of the targets.
Affirmative.
I should be out there hunting.
I guess that'll be okay.
First we'll use the grenade. This should instantly kill the officer and expose the purifier.
The death of these subordinates will prevent nothing.
We'll overdrive with our spark, and use them to finish off any leftover enemies. I want to get our ranger out of the way first though, just in case.
On my way.
We'll just finish this off while we're here.
By the numbers.
We'll have our grenadier shoot first, that way we have hollow targeting if we miss.
That all you got? That's it, I'm out.
Then we just remove the spectral zombie.
Terminated. Engaging over.
We may as well take a shot at the turret while we're here. She does 9 to 11 damage with blue screen rounds, so the only way she won't kill it is if she rolls min damage.
Not good.
Are you ready to be redeemed?
Let's try that again.
Target neutralized.
The weakness of these minions only furthers the need for my presence here.
Now we'll move our Reaper in and see what's inside. There shouldn't be any more pods out front.
So many victims, processed with such brutal proficiency. Test subjects for some sort of weapon, perhaps.
Looks more like a refinery to me, Doctor.
Once we get our hands on that sample, we'll know for sure.
We need to wait for our sharpshooter to catch up, so this is a good opportunity to reload and get topped up before we go in.
Rearming weapons systems. Setting Overwatch.
Killing time. Come get some.
Here's the next pod, a mech and 2 troopers.
Upwind.
This pod is interesting. It's actually completely fixed on this mission. You'll notice that the troopers only have 4 HP, that's because they're just basic troopers rather than the advanced ones. This pod is always here inside the Blacksite facility, and even if you left this mission until the end of the game, long after you stop seeing basic troopers and mechs, you'll still get this pod on this map. We're just going to hold position here and keep an eye on them while we move up with the rest of our squad. It'll be slow though, we still want to keep Overwatch crawling in case we get any more pods or spectral zombies.
Don't waste my time. I can handle that.
I'm trusting you here.
I'm all over it.
Set Overwatch priority.
Overwatch.
Close.
More spectral zombies, hence the Overwatches.
Threat eliminated.
The Elders created them for this very purpose.
I definitely got that one.
I can only see one of the enemies right now. We need to make sure we're in a position where we can see all of them, so we know which tiles are safe to move to.
I go where you tell me.
We can see another pod too. Another Archon. We'll have to be careful as we move in, not to trigger that one as well.
Absolutely.
If you say so.
Moving on target.
Go, go, go.
Ideally, our sharpshooter has line of sight on the pod, that way we can use long watch to trigger them. We have to be careful not to get the Archon though.
Moving to position.
Optical sensors
Got it
on
covered.
overwatch.
Moving to Overwatch.
She can still see the trooper, so now we're in a position where we can try and get them with long watch. The problem is we can't see the mech again. We'll have to find it first before stacking up.
I am at your service.
Movement engaged.
No problem, boss. No problem, boss.
I guess that'll...
Ideally what happens is she catches this trooper with long watch, and then they run towards us.
Covering the
Overwatch program engaged.
Scanning. Moving to
Moving
Overwatch.
to Overwatch.
I got nothing.
They came close enough to hit our Overwatch anyway.
How about that?
You'll continue to fight to the others will only strengthen my resolve.
Watch the place.
The Archon's going up top, and the other two are Vipers.
Your forces will perish, and you will return to the Elders, Commander.
I could probably get the pod from here if I open the door, but I don't trust the game.
Whatever you say.
They're both weak enough now that we can just get them with a grenade, and that's what I'm going to do. We need to have enough Overwatches to deal with either the Archon or spectral zombies if they come in.
Multiple threats
Stand
eliminated.
alone, fearing no one. Come forth and perish.
Movement request.
Our sharpshooter's completely out of ammo. We'll reload later, since we'll probably be using her for pistol abilities instead.
What's over there?
On
Legend
Overwatch.
comes naturally.
Scanning for
On
targets.
Overwatch.
You know that was good.
It's dead. It has to be dead.
I cannot hide for long. My power precedes me wherever I go.
Our next goal is we want to find the Archon pod, so we can set up an Overwatch on them. Last we saw them, they were over here, so we need to get our Reaper on the roof. I think the best approach is to go outside and then use the ladder to get on the lower roof.
I go when I'm needed.
We didn't find the pod, but we did find another turret. I'm going to stay here and reload an Overwatch until we can find them.
Locked and loaded. Overwatch.
Ready to engage.
Archons are quite dangerous enemies because they're tough and have a high defense stat. We don't want to wander into one if we can avoid it.
Your forces will perish, and you will return to the Elders, Commander.
I will go.
We still haven't found the Archon pod. There's a good chance they're down behind the objective. We need to be a bit careful. We don't want them to patrol into our Reaper. We'll go over here instead.
As ordered.
They're behind the facility, so we're safe to move in a little bit.
If you say so.
Heading out.
You heard the doctor. Secure that canister.
Moving to designated position.
We can shoot the fuel tank because the turret is nearby.
Come get down.
It is nearly time for atonement.
Same as before, get eyes on and keep closing in.
My life is in your hands.
I've had instances where that mod indicator is not 100% accurate, so I usually leave at least an extra tile of space just to make sure.
On approach.
Heading out.
Got
Moving
it.
to Overwatch. Covering now.
I'm worried they're going to come back this way. I want to get our Reaper out of the way.
Moving out.
Engaging
Overwatch.
I love it. Only the best.
You will make a fitting sacrifice for the Elders.
There's two options we can take. We can either go on the left or the right. Ideally they go on the right, so we can remote start the forklift, but on this mission, I don't think there's a way to guarantee which direction they'll move in. They were moving back towards the left, so I eventually decide to stack up on that side.
I'm trusting you here.
Not a problem.
Don't slow me down.
Advancing.
We'll keep our sharpshooter where she is, and just let her long watch.
Got it covered.
Affirmative. Covering now.
Overwatch mode active. I'll watch closely.
On Overwatch.
We're extremely close to activating them, so we'll just try another Overwatch.
Oh yeah. Got it covered.
Established
Going to
protocol.
Overwatch.
Engage.
Reapers are always vigilant. Spread our message.
Target eliminated.
All of your offenses against the Elders, Commander.
I think that's both Vipers dead, which leaves the Archon.
You have already done more than your share to defy the Elders' decrees, but I will not allow you to desecrate this place. My masters have proclaimed that all who trespass here must die, and I am the instrument of their will.
It's one of the Elders chosen.
Unfortunately, we got too close to the Chosen and activated him. That's not a problem though, because all of our frontline troops have mind shields.
You for the Elders' blessings.
We'll take our Grenadier in for the point blank and to apply hollow targeting.
Seems doable.
Only a 53% for the chain shot, so we'll go for a standard. As you can see, Archons are very hard to hit. Hollow targeting makes a huge difference. Even if the targets were close enough together, we're going to have a hard time getting the rocket to go where we want. We'll just keep taking shots at the Archon for now.
Target remains viable. Minimal damage on target.
He's very low. We should just need to go in with the shotgun now.
Sure thing. What'd you expect?
I'm tempted to use Sting, just to start getting some damage in.
I will reposition.
There's not much point using a grenade here, because we only have a few units left. If we destroy his cover, he'll just move to another one next turn, so we'll save the grenade for that and just use demolition instead. Demolition unfortunately only has an 80% chance for some reason.
Come get some.
I won't let them pass. Our time to march. Servants of the Elders, come.
Went off the armor!
He's just going to keep using psi abilities, and we have a spark and 3 people with mind shields on the front line, so he's just not going to do anything.
Watch it. That thing is taking control of our soldiers.
We can actually hit both of them with the Claymore, solving both problems.
The trap is set.
Then before we take any more shots, we'll bring our Grenadier in for some more hollow targeting.
I'm going.
You will pay for
The laser grid's actually preventing us from hopping outside the window.
I'm going!
Let us begin then.
Our sharpshooter's got a 100% shot, but she'd have to crit to kill him. We'll keep her as a backup.
What's over there? That's it! Burning through ammo fast!
When your people are wiped clean from this world, these trivial defeats I have suffered at your hands will be all but forgotten by the Elders.
We showed the Chosen that the Resistance is here to stay, Commander. Now we just have to find that thing and put it down for good.
We could dash for the loot, but then we'd activate the turret. I was confident this is the only enemy left on the map though.
Tracking route to target.
We still have the option to shoot the fuel tank, and it should blow up the floor tile. A little known tip for turrets is that if they're on roofs, you can destroy the floor tile, and that will instantly destroy the turret. We'll deliberately make our Reaper jump through a window to break concealment. That way he's free to take shots on Overwatch. We'll also send our Spark to sit next to the objective, and bring the rest of our squad onto the roof.
Compromised.
Running!
Already there!
On the move!
What's going to happen is when we pick up the objective, we're going to get 2 waves of reinforcements. So we want to make sure everyone's in a good position before we trigger it. We're not quite in ideal positions yet, so we'll take another turn to reload and overwatch.
Watch my back.
Preparing to re-engage. Set
Rock and roll.
Overwatch priority.
Come
Rock
get
and roll.
some!
Let's do this! Come get some.
Everyone's in position, so now we're ready to grab the objective.
More sheep to the slaughter. That water in there. Shen, any readings?
No signs of radioactivity, no significant energy signatures of any kind. Whatever it is, it's safe to handle.
We've confirmed acquisition of the sample. Move to rendezvous at the extraction point.
The reason we used our Spark to pick this up is because they can easily hop up to high ground. You could also use a soldier with a grappling hook.
Proceeding to target.
Then we just set up the firing line.
Overwatch, covering
Give me
now.
time to reload.
My watch begins.
Overwatch.
The first reinforcements are an officer, a trooper, and a purifier, in that order of priority.
I can see the Advent scam.
Blacksite!
Nothing's going in.
Targeted unit down.
Now we'll take the opportunity to reload with our sharpshooter, and then try and finish him off with the pistol.
Get it together! Got him!
With that done, we'll reload, overwatch, and prepare for the next reinforcements.
Ready to engage! Scanning!
Reloading. Got it
Re-up
covered.
and reload!
Scanning for targets.
Looks like they called in backup.
On Overwatch. Moving to Overwatch.
Reloading. Weapon. Ever vigilant.
This time it's an officer and 2 troopers.
The peacekeepers come to fight.
You're just lucky they don't let me use my hand.
Hostile target
I got it, right?
eradicated.
With that, the mission's over. We just have to run to the extraction point.
I'll be there soon.
Affirmative. Stepping off.
Moving out. Got it. Moving.
100% efficiency.
Moving out. Moving out.
I guess that'll be okay. Confirmed.
Servos engaged.
I'm
Just
leaving.
in time. Evac confirmed.
Heading home. Packing it in.
Spark disengaging.
Avenger, this is Firebrand. Package is secure. All XCOM operatives are secure. Firebrand is returning to base.
Mission accomplished, Commander. We just hit Advent where it hurts. This was a place no living human being was ever intended to see. Happy as I am to see it gone, something tells me the aliens won't take this lying down.
You can see how important it is to bring mind shields on these engagements. Even though we activated the Chosen while we were fighting the Archon pod, he just couldn't do anything. He just kept trying to use Mind Scorch, which did nothing. The only unit he could affect with Mind Scorch was deliberately far away from the fight. Also, upgrading to Predator armor allowed us to bring more grenades, so we could be more liberal with our explosives. In hindsight, I took too long to get to Predator armor. Otherwise, this was another example in scouting, Overwatch ambushes, and the value of holo targeting.
This just goes to show that the Chosen are vulnerable and we can take them down. We just have to figure out how to keep them down.
2 missions back to back means our entire squad is tired. We've got some promotions though. For sharpshooter, I prefer face-off. Whenever you have multiple targets, you can use face-off to damage all of them in just one action. It's just a great ability for even more granular damage. Killzone is also really good, but the problem is its reaction shots, so you have the standard aim penalty. And sometimes you'll set up a kill zone, expecting a bunch of shots, and the enemy will just not move, wasting your cooldown. Our ranger gets shadow step as usual. It's just too useful to give up. You've already seen the benefits of having holo targeting on our grenadiers, so the more units we can get with it, the better. And for sparks, I like to take Bombard. Bombard is interesting, in that it's sort of like a pseudo-grenade attack, but you can throw it almost anywhere on the map. Any tile that any of your units can see, you can throw Bombard to. You don't have to have line of sight, you don't need direct vision of it, you can even be inside an enclosed space, and they'll still be able to throw it. This makes it a good backup ability, where you can toss this out if you have a target that no one else is in a position to hit. Repair is obviously really good, but it's dependent on you taking damage, and your sparks are too fragile in the base game to be taking a lot of damage. You want to be eliminating the enemies as quickly as possible.
Now that we've recovered the apparent product of the Blacksite facility, I imagine it will take considerable time and resources to uncover the true purpose of this substance. I will begin preparations for a complete analysis immediately, Commander.
Having now seen the inner workings of the Blacksite facility, the outcome is perhaps even more troubling than I had expected. It is clear the aliens have undertaken a gruesome task. I will leave this matter for you to investigate, Commander.
New objective added.
The aliens are relaying a form of encryption beyond anything we've ever encountered, much less theorized. We'll have to find a means of breaking the code, but I expect it.
We're going to have to start prioritizing story objectives. The ADVENT Blacksite only removes one block from the Avatar project, so we're going to switch over to alien encryption for now.
I'll direct our efforts towards the new research project immediately, Commander. Once we've made progress, I'll send word.
An impressive effort, Commander. The destruction of their Blacksite will no doubt slow the aliens' progress, but time is still short.
Commander, remote reconnaissance indicates the aliens have a UFO hunting for our position. We need to be careful about where we pick our flight paths.
As mentioned, you only get one block of progress removed from doing the ADVENT Blacksite facility, so we also need to prioritize getting to a new facility before the project bar fills again. There's also this UFO going around. The icon is purely cosmetic, it doesn't matter how close it gets to you. We only have one facility that isn't guarded by an alien ruler currently. But before we get to that, we're just going to finish scanning these resistance contacts, because it's only 3 days and having it will be helpful later. Now we're going to start trying to move over to this facility, because it's the only one we've got that doesn't have an alien ruler.
Setting course for Sector 3, Brazil.
I am sure you will find the results to be as intriguing as I do, Commander.
This will now allow us to build the shadow chamber, which is important for story missions and also tells you what types of aliens are on missions. Then we're just going to go straight back to doing plasma rifle. It's still not really worth finishing alien data decryption. I'd much rather have plasma weapons as soon as possible.
Task, Commander.
New objective added.
We've got to build the shadow chamber, but we still have other things we need to buy, such as a mimic beacon.
Understanding of the aliens' encryption methods. We can now construct a facility.
It costs 125 supplies to build, which would wipe out all of our supplies currently. We'll hang on to that for a little bit, at least until we can get some more money. We've got our next guerrilla op. We have a choice between Lost World and 96 Intel, which is pretty useful, and a hidden event with a specialist. This is a pretty easy decision. Only a specialist and a hidden event we don't necessarily care about, compared to Lost World, which is going to be a huge nuisance, and a large amount of intel.
Setting course for Sector 8, Mexico.